Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Alton West. Today I'll have guests on to talk about some back-to-school events coming up, and also I have on from the LaGrange Police Department a gentleman talking about safety tips in driving as our kids start back to school. So stay tuned for those interviews coming up in just a moment. Welcome to City Week, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm sitting down with two gentlemen from the community that have been involved for a number of years. As a matter of fact, I think this is the 9th year for Mr. Michael Fanning, and I also have joining me today is Mr. Chad Cooper. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for having us.
You know, Mike, you and I have been on, and Chad, I think this is your fourth year coming on the show as well. And we're talking about something that we're gearing up, getting ready to do. And I know that, Mike, you're probably a little bit more excited by being a third grade teacher now at Callaway Middle School there, elementary school. We're going to be talking about backpacks for kids and things of that nature. But before we get into that, tell me a little bit about your role there as a third grade teacher, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure. This year will be my second year teaching third grade, so I'm kind of excited about it. We have a new year, new kids. As I told you earlier, last year it was different. So hopefully I'm expecting a better, uplifting, positive year this year. So I'm excited about that. My teammates, co-workers, we all excited for the new school year.
Okay, very good. And last year was your first year as a third, because you transitioned from the second to the third. Correct. Any change in the kids that you noticed? Big change. It's funny because it's amazing to see that, you know, second to third, you don't think it's a difference, but it is. I mean, more independence, yes. I think as far as for myself, one thing that I did learn in second grade, you teach all subjects. But for third, you have, you know, your two subjects that you are responsible for. And so personally, I love that. But as far as the kids, man, last year I was heavily boy populated, so you know, knuckleheads, man. So, but this year it's kind of vice versa. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. So. Oh, very good. Well, we wish you the very best. And as I stated, my hat's off to anyone, teachers especially, that deal with our youth on a day-to-day basis. And Chad, I'm gonna jump over to you because you're doing pretty much the same thing, not just maybe not in a teaching classroom environment, but you're molding our young minds of tomorrow with the West Georgia Star. Talk a little bit about your role there.
Well, I'm the Director of Operations for West Georgia Star, and actually it's for the nonprofit arm of the LaGrange Housing Authority. And so what we do there, we provide all the resident services once they join the housing authority. So once you get a home, you pretty much are referred to us, and that's anything from getting education, daycare, after school program, job placement, transportation. We provide a huge array of services.
And you know, very needed services. A lot of times I hear some of the employers talk about those soft skills, and if they don't learn them at an early age, as early as second and third grade, so that they can kind of grow up in them, they may not necessarily get those skills later on.
And that's one of the things that we do with our teenagers. We actually have an after school enrichment platform. And so what the teenagers do there, they learn those skills so they be able to get jobs. And so a lot of times we find jobs for them in the community over the summer, but they have to be in the program the entire year. So they can get those skills to be employed.
Very good.
And I mean, and just to piggyback off of that, but I think that's what it's about. Like it doesn't start with me as a third grade teacher. It doesn't start in middle school. I personally think it starts parents. You know what I'm saying? At home, like I think even within the womb, read the books. You know, be calm, be positive. You know, just you are the first leader. You are the first hero. You are the first role model. You know what I'm saying? Us as we are just we get them from you. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I just think but it's still like we feed off one another. You know, we get them from you. I get them right for Chad. Chad send them on to the high school. High school get them right for college. College get them right for life.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think. Like if we can just figure that part out, and I think at the end, the product in the end will be better. You know what I'm saying?
It's a process.
And that's one of the things.
A big process.
And that's one of the things that we are requiring this year in our after school program, that the teachers and the parents have to meet the teachers at least once every 9 weeks.
Right.
Because we're trying to take a different approach where, not only the kids, but the parents as well.
Yeah.
Because we can't do it alone. The teachers can't do it alone. So we have to get the parents involved too.
They have to be held accountable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, man, like something that I commend my principal for, we're doing, she's challenging us. Like it's not even a direct demand. She's challenging us. She gave us our roster with the addresses on it, and she's challenging us to go meet our families, like make home visits before school.
Right.
And I personally think that's a good thing.
Absolutely,
you know what I'm saying? Just to break the barrier. Like I'm not better than you, or just to get that pressure off. Like then and there up front, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's a good thing.
Well, it's so helpful when you see the environment which the children come from.
Right.
So it helps you to understand them a little bit better. So
that too.
When they sometimes act out, as children will, but you kind of understand those situations from which they're coming from.
Correct.
And just like when I was coming up, even though my parents may not be able to help me with my homework, they found somebody to help me.
That's right.
And that's where we come in and try to make sure we do that. And like all our teachers are certified teachers. Right. We have a mixture of retired teachers and teachers that are currently teaching in the school system as well.
That's very good. The programs are to be commended that both you gentlemen are doing. And we're talking about helping and community and that common unity, the thing that bring us together. I know that you all, this is your 9th year doing this, Michael. The backpack and supplies that's going to be held on August the 13th.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that if you don't mind.
Well, just in general past, it's like every year this event has grown, like every year. So we've tried to accommodate, like for the year, just say this year, we're trying to accommodate for the crowd the previous year. So we're trying to come up with different solutions, different avenues, and to try to figure out how can we match this crowd, like how can we control the crowd. So last year we did okay, but man, people were everywhere, everywhere. We weren't prepared. So let's go back to the drawing board. Like, what can we do? So what we thought about, let's try a 2-day event. All right, so let's do August 13th. All right, we're gonna do August 13th for the backpacks and school supplies. All right, in addition to, so to also kind of control the crowd a little bit, and for, I hate to say it, greedy people, but it is what it is. To control, we did a pre-registration.
Okay.
All right, so the pre-registration is only for backpacks, backpacks and school supplies. And honestly, man, and I know people probably think I don't want to say that we're not serious, but if you do not register with Chad, and at the Recreation Center, the old William Griggs, if you don't do your pre-registration, you're not going to get a backpack.
Okay.
Because honestly, that's how we purchasing the school supplies and backpacks off the list that we have. So I mean, we're not doing extra. So if you come in, like, I mean, if you don't register, you won't get one.
So basically, here you playing. No pre-registration,
no backpack. Period.
Very good.
Period.
And we're going to talk a little bit about some things that we want to try to bring together in just a moment. But and I heard you mention Greg Center, but if you don't mind, just tell them where and when, once again, the location of this event will be taking place.
Right. It's at what we call the Old Rec, William Griggs Center. I'm not sure, what is the address? Ogletree Street. Ogletree Street. I think it's like 716 Ogletree Street. It'll be held there. We'll be doing, if you pre-register, be there 1 o'clock. And we're doing from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Okay. So come get your backpack. We're gonna have little lines where like based on last names. Come in that line, get your backpack, and hopefully, man, we'll see you on the 14th for everything else, for the events, for the hot dogs, for the haircuts, for the hairstyles. Okay. And everything else.
Okay, very good. So 2-day event, 13th the backpack supplies, and then on the 14th the haircut styles and for kids.
Right.
Age limit? Or age?
Well, basically, man, it's really not an age. Well, I'm gonna say school age.
School age.
School age.
Very good.
Right.
All right, very good. And Chan, I know that your students also will be coming and participating. Volunteers, is there an opportunity for people to volunteer to help out? Because I heard you saying you guys were not quite prepared for the number that came out. Is there an opportunity for people to volunteer?
Sure. All they got to do is hit us up, Facebook, email, phone calls, and we can always put somebody somewhere to help. Because it was anything like last year, because we thought we had prepared last year based on the crowd before, but I think we probably estimated about 1,200 people ended up showing up last year.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and we were definitely overwhelmed, but we had some people in the crowd that decided they were going to come out and help us. We had to pack more book bags and everything to get everything out. So if you want to volunteer, just give one of us a call, email, or just show up, and we'll find somewhere to put you to help out.
Okay, very good. Let me, and talking about that, you said about 1,200 people, and I know that every year around this time we have, I'm just going to say, multiple opportunities for people to give away backpacks and things of that nature. And you've been doing this now, Michael, for 9 years. Chad, you've been a partner in this for 3 years. And then, of course, there's others that are doing something similar to this. When we talk about community, the root word in there for me is unity. Common unity. How can we as a community come together to make sure that we're not duplicating services?
I think personally, man, and I'm glad you brought this up. I think at the end of the day, man, like you said, it's about unity in the community. So to show that, I just think, like, and first and foremost, I commend everybody who's doing back to school event. Like, I truly commend you. But it's to me, it's like, let's just do one huge, like one gigantic school supply backpack giveaway. And it honestly, man, it takes a lot of work first and foremost. Like, it takes a lot of work, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of text messages, a lot of communicating. So it's like, okay, let's just come together, like, because honestly, for me, a lot of my footwork is like out of the way. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, 9 years, like a lot of people now are calling me versus me calling them. Like, don't get me wrong, I still make phone calls, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of the groundwork, footwork is out of the way. But I just think to eliminate the multiple backpack giveaways, as far as you coming to my event, I'm coming to your event, we're going to Chad event. Like we talked about earlier, like you have 6 backpacks in your living room for no reason.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think to eliminate that, you have to do pre-registration, which I really didn't like, but to kind of eliminate it. And then let's do one. And then that way, you still, somebody gonna find a way to beat the system. That's just what it is. But I just think if we do one huge event, it'll kind of eliminate all the traffic.
And to jump on what you were saying too, it stops the waste of resources. And by everybody coming together, we stop the duplication of people getting those multiple book bags with the registration and everything, because now we can order this amount of book bags. Get a couple of extra for somebody who just may or couldn't have registered. And so, we can allocate some of those funds to other things that can help out a lot more.
Absolutely.
And then in addition to like the saying, like now we can do, you try to do quality over quantity, but now we can do quantity and quality. You know what I'm saying? We can kill 2 birds with 1 stone now. You know what I'm saying? We can buy 500 Jan Sports or North Face, because now we got so many people in the pot that we can afford it. You know what I'm saying? So that's our mindset on it.
Well, gentlemen, I want to thank both of you all. You do a tremendous job in the community, working with our youth, molding them, preparing them for the future, and hopefully to return to our community to be productive citizens here in our community. So I just want to commend both of you all. Our time gets away from us so quickly.
It does.
We definitely have to have you guys come back, and hopefully I can get out there, just kind of take them to observe and maybe even volunteer.
We definitely want everybody to come over to the Housing Authority and see what we're doing over there. We got a great new community garden that's really taking off. And come see our facility, because I promise you, we have one of the best facilities outside of Atlanta. And you probably blown away, because a lot of people, when they come visit, the first thing they say is, I didn't know what to expect, but it wasn't this.
Wasn't that? Well, gentlemen, thank both of you all for being on the show today.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment. Welcome back, City, ladies and gentlemen. As we prepare to get ready to start the new year for school, we also want our drivers and buses and kids and everybody to be safe. So I have on today from the LaGrange Police Department, Corporal Wesley Engel, who does a wonderful job here in our community making sure that our citizens are protected and safe. So I just want to say again to you, as I do all the way, thank you for your services, sir. And welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alton.
Well, Wesley, you know, it's a pleasure to always sit down with you. And I know that you've been on quite a number of times, but tell people what your role is with the police department.
Well, I work in the traffic division. My Sergeant Armstrong is my supervisor, and I work with Corporal and me too. We try to respond to all the wrecks, which we average about between 170 to 200 wrecks a month. And we try to get them, the ones that we can't get to, because sometimes 2 or 3 wrecks will come out at one time, and we're trying to get the wrecks covered as quick as we can, so a lot of times other units will get it. But we're responsible for any serious injury or fatality. We investigate that. And we do traffic enforcement, which is basically an education process. We try to get people to slow down, buckle up, be conscious. You know, sometimes it's best to hang, if you're not familiar with your area, hang the cell phone up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, because you get distracted with the phone conversation. We're trying to educate the teenagers, you know. The sad thing is, you know, a lot of parents will be sending their kids to school and don't think about it, but any child under 18 years old cannot be texting or on the cell phone while they're driving, because it is a distraction. And a lot of new kids are coming back to school this year and starting to drive. And a lot of parents don't understand the provision license, which they got a Class D the first 6 months. They can't have nobody in the car but immediate family. And you'll see kids that just got their license in August, they're coming to school like September with 4 people in the car.
Not permissible, right?
Right, which is against the law, but also they need to look at the fact that if their child gets hurt, the insurance company might not want to pay, because the child shouldn't have the other children in the car, and that could end up causing the parents a lawsuit.
You know, you use the term education, and that is always so important that you know, just common sense things too, and to educate the public. Just like, you know, I remember when my son turned 16, I told him that very fact: you can only be you and your brother, and that was it. But you know, of course, what teenagers are going to do, as you stated, they're going to pack them in there, and it's for safety reason. And then too is the inexperience of them as a driver.
Right, and that's what doesn't create a distraction. You know, they're all excited to go back to school. You know, most of them are see their friends for the first few days, and it is a distraction. And they don't have the experience that you and I or other people's been driving for a while, or even their parents. And you know, you're going to drive differently with your parents than you are going to drive with your friends.
That's right.
You know, you're going to turn that radio up, fool with that cell phone. We try to encourage people that the cell phone is a distraction. I mean, I've been on my cell phone in my truck and passed my turn and realized, let me get off this phone, because this is distracting me. So I get to where I try not to take a phone call, or if I get one, say, hey, okay, I got to go, I'm driving by.
That's right, absolutely.
And you know, even with the hands-free, the Bluetooth, you get so focused with the phone calls. You know, and you know, I don't think the parents consciously really think about calling their child, because they're actually calling to probably check on their child, and then they're actually having them violate the law. So, and then if you're on, and I see so many parents, they'll be on the phone, the kid will be over, when I did school crossing, the kid will be over there asleep. It's a perfect opportunity to talk to your child and see how their day is going, and you know, talk to them, because you know, instead of you talking on a cell phone, talk to them, get them alert, get them conscious, get where they're motivated going to school, and look forward to it, instead of just falling asleep in the car.
That's right.
And then sleeping all the way to school, and they're kind of groggy when they get there, so it's going to take them a little while to get awoke, you know?
That's right.
So that way they pay less attention in class.
You're right. You know, you know, just common sense things that you're saying there, Wesley, that, you know, to help, again, the term educate, we have to continue to educate our kids. As we just had Michael on, who is a 3rd grade elementary teacher, and he said that, you know, the parents are the first, you know, the first mentor, all of those things, the first teacher, the first coach, all of those. And it shouldn't take, you know, the law enforcement. So when they get to you and the other people in uniform, they already have that respect, that, you know, that knowledge base, or general knowledge anyway. And we're talking about distractors, Wesley, as you know, school has started back. The school buses are rolling.
Yes, they are.
More cars on the street now, because, you know, children, as you said, are driving back to school. Those distractors, cell phones, radios, not paying attention to the school bus that has a sign out. Help us to get through our school year. Just give us some basic safety tips.
The first thing you need to do is, when everybody knows when school is going to start. You know, even the people that don't have children in school usually got grandkids, or hear their kids talk about their kids going back to school. Or, you know, we put on TV, you definitely see it on the bulletin boards out there in front of the schools. Well, I always tell people, last year when you went to work, there might not have been a school bus on the road the time that you were going to work.
Right.
But you know what? There might have been a new kid, or they changed the bus route, or they might have changed the driver of the bus route. Because as you see all the time, they're all-time advertising for bus drivers all the time throughout the city. And so that person might not be familiar. So you need to leave yourself that extra time in case you get behind a school bus, because a lot of people don't realize, you can't pass. The school bus is regulated to go so speed. You don't know where there stops, and when you go to pass one, and when it's a legal pass, you need to make sure that that bus isn't coming up to another child. And right now we're fortunate because the clock hadn't set back, because you still have some of the daylight that the kids are out there. But kids are kids. They're going to be playing. They're going to be excited, especially the little ones about going to school. They're going to be playing at the bus stop. So when you approach, you need to cover your brakes, scan air, make sure you can get through there without hitting the child. Because you hit a child or pass a school bus and hit a child, being late for work is the least of your problems.
Absolutely.
Because you could seriously hurt a child with a car, or even an adult. And the school bus drivers might not be familiar, so they might be stopping more because they might think that's a bus stop there, or thinking they got a child there, and there'd be the confusion that the child wasn't this year, went to another grade, or moved, or I don't know how the bus figures out their bus routes and their bus. But be prepared. Give yourself that extra time. And when a lot of kids will be going to the restaurants to get their breakfast and stuff. So give yourself a lot of time, because a lot of people probably try to get a little biscuit before they go to work.
That's right.
Or a little breakfast. So try to give yourself a lot of time, because you're going to have the kids out there that were driving. And there's going to be different kids driving this year than it was last year. The seniors, they've done moved on, where they were kind of used to the hours and times like that, where you got your sophomores coming in starting to drive and stuff. And we have so many wrecks in the school parking lot, where the kids are backing up or in a hurry when they get out of school. They're excited, not paying attention, or they got a bunch of friends piled up in their car, and they shouldn't have them piled up in the car.
That's right.
And like I tell parents, just like in the child restraint, the child restraint laws change. It used to be 5, now they got to be into a booster seat till they're 8, or they're 4'9" or 57 inches.
Okay.
It used to be a weight, where no longer it's a weight, it's height, because the seatbelt's coming across their chest, and you want it to be comfortable for them, because if it's not comfortable. I see so many times when I stop and the parents not buckled up, the child ain't buckled up.
There you go.
And they say, well, I can't keep my child buckled up. I try to tell them, well, if you make it an important part of your life, that you see how they see how important it is that you buckle up, they're going to want to stay buckled up. Because like you said, they're your mentor. They're looking up to you. What you do, they think is okay.
That's right.
Like talking on the cell phone, texting on the phone, getting on the internet, getting on Facebook. And a lot of parents need a Facebook with the thing. They need to try to monitor your child's Facebook, because there's so much bullying going on now, and there's so much on that social media, to try to keep up with it.
Let me ask you, talking about child restraint, because I have 3 grandchildren myself, and as we were talking before we came on, my 8-year-old always talking about, Papa, I want to ride in the front, but I know he's got to be in the back.
That's right.
Even when you have the seatbelts on, there's so many times I'll pass a car and they'll have the seatbelt coming across the kids or adults across their neck. What's the proper position for the seatbelt?
It should come straight across here, fall right below your neck. A lot of times new cars, way back in the day when you and I were probably driving, it was just kind of one. Now they adjust, height-wise,
right.
because people are different size. Some people have a larger torso, some people are taller, some people are shorter. And so you try to lower, if it's irritating your neck, try to lower a little bit down on the side. If in the back, if it's on your neck, your child's neck is because they need to be in a booster seat.
Okay.
There's so many booster seats out. Which one do you decide? Well, I always encourage people, go on the internet and use that internet for a useful thing. Get out and do the reviews and stuff like that. I prefer the booster seats that look like a chair.
Okay. Yeah.
That way it's raised them up higher, and they got a back support and everything, where the one that they just sit on, they're leaning on the car. Well, this is one whole thing. It's just like a regular car seat. I think it's more comfortable for the child. The more comfortable the child is, and you're buckling up, he or she's going to be more ample to want to do what you're doing, buckle up, be safe.
Absolutely.
And you need to keep them, if they're under 12, keep them in the back seat. Now, if your car's full, you'd want the oldest child up front.
Okay.
If you could turn your airbag off, try to, due to the fact that the airbag is going to come out on the child. Not that anybody intentionally has a wreck,
right?
But somebody could hit you or something. But you don't want the airbag. You don't want the airbag to hurt your child.
Absolutely. I want to go back up just a little bit, because you talked about a number of great things here as far as safety is concerned. School buses, new routes, things like that. And at some intersections, we have school crossing guards. Let's talk a little bit about that. And when a school crossing guard is there, they are a traffic control device.
Yeah. Well, actually, a year and a half ago, a lady almost ran me over. I was out in front of Lafayette Christian School. and she was so consumed with the traffic, she's changing lanes and literally almost hit me. I had to jump out of the road.
Oh my.
And yeah, but the school crossing guards, they're usually retired to help us out, and pay attention to them, because they're going to have their neon vest on, their gloves, their hat, and some of them got stop signs. Without them out there to help us, people need to realize how bad would the traffic be, because we have calls for service. So somebody getting shot or something like would be a priority over directing traffic. So they're a very useful tool that we're fortunate to have them, that they step forward and come help us out. We don't need them getting hit or nothing like that. They need to be careful when they're going by them. Don't be speeding by them. Be constant alert, because you never know what can happen. You could have a blowout on your tire and you run over a school crossing guard. They're here to help. They're there to help us get our kids in and out of school, and the parents in and out dropping their kids off of school safely, so you can get it out and delay you as least time as possible.
That's right.
Sometimes it does get a little backed up, because certain times the school buses and people's not going to be used to it again. They've got used to them not being there and not being delayed.
That's right.
So that's why I always encourage people to leave a little bit earlier. That way you might even miss the school bus that you normally miss. You might 2 minutes can make a difference. When I lived in Heard County, if 2 minutes, if I left the house later than 3 or 4 minutes after 6:30, I'd always hit a school bus.
That's right.
But I'd always be ahead of it the way it stops went.
Okay.
So if you keep yourself, try to figure that first day or two, if you got any that's causing your delay, because they're going to constantly be stopping to pick children up, and that way you can, that third or fourth day, kind of where the buses are doing.
Okay, well, very good. Well, Corporal, it's always a pleasure to sit down with you. Always very good, important safety tips, and especially right as our schools are started back, school buses out running, we have more traffic on the streets. By all means, ladies and gentlemen, be safe out on our streets, because we don't want you to have an encounter with this kind gentleman because you were perhaps not doing the right thing. So, Corporal Engel, I want to thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you. We
and
appreciate
always a pleasure. All right.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining City Week this week. My guests have been Mr. Michael Fannin, elementary teacher at Callaway, and also I had on Mr. Chad Cooper from the LaGrange Housing Authority, West Georgia Star, as they talked about the August 13th backpack and supplies for kids and August the 14th haircut and style for kids that will be taking place over at the William Gregg Center on Ogletree Street. So come out, support this event, and by all means, if you'd like to volunteer, give one of the gentlemen a call. Also, ladies and gentlemen, in reference to our back to school, we want to make sure that our kids are safe, and also the school buses are adhered to as they travel our cities. So, ladies and gentlemen, we had on from the LaGrange Police Department, Corporal Wesley Engel, as he gave us some safety driving tips for our back to school students. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you've enjoyed these interviews, and as always, I want to invite you back for more of City Week.